Our Section 4 general description of the electrical system is divided according to functions in three principal purposes, namely the electrical drive equipment to transmit with the power to diesel electrical locomotive that provides the automatic variable speed ratio between the engine revolutions, axle revolution, the power, full power of the engine can thus be used over the wide range of the engine speed. With the equipment consisting of the traction generator with the exciter with the traction motor, the contact reverser relay switches which control the operation. Two, the engine control switching equipment that crank the engine with the starter that consists of the storage battery with the traction generator, which is equipped with the speed winding with the enable with the crank motor with the push button switch of the contactor to connect them to the battery. Three, the auxiliary power equipment that provide with the current approximately 75 volts to drive with the storage battery operating with a contactor light with a cap heater generator that consists of the auxiliary generator, the relay with the contactors to automatically control them manually operate the switch for the lights, heater, fan for the operation of the electrical system is usually understood with a few simple rules as are follow the first let's learn the function of the machine, the device for the table of the electrical equipment. On page 45, give the function of each of the devices. Also show the symbol which indicate the circuit diagrams. 2, the second circuit, the study of the circuit to find out which of them device operates, which accomplishes. All right, figure 18. One, going clockwise. Motor line contactor, P1, P2, PME1, and PE contactors, rheostat, resistors, exciter field contactor 3, 4, sprocket chain raising, lowering hatch cover, 5, handling raising, lower hatch cover, 8, engine panel lamp socket, 7, 60 ampere fuse battery circuit, and 8, 35 ampere fuse auxiliary generator, 9, 4 ampere fuse auxiliary generator field circuit, 10, reverser current relays, 11, control circuit breaker, 12, auxiliary circuit breaker, 13, cedar field cutout switch number 1, 14, traction motor cutout switch number 1, traction motor cutout switch number 1, 15, throttle control switch DC, 17, battery switch DS voltage regulating relay X1. All right, your table electrical equipment devices: G generator, generators and motor. G1, G2 traction generator, armature for the furnace with power for the traction motor. 1, 2, and 3 and 4 traction motor, armature locomotive driving motors. E1, E2 exciter generator, armatures furnishing traction generator field excitation. A1, A2 auxiliary generators, armatures furnishing power for the battery charging, lighting control, lights and control. GF1, GF2 traction generator field shunting, generator field G1 and 2. GS1, GS2 traction generator fields, generator start field. These start the generator fields of G1, G2 with the operated the motors for the engine cranking. 1, 2, and 3 traction motor field motors series field 1, 2, and 3. EF1, EF2 exciter generator fields, shunt fields. The E1, E2 exciter generator armatures. The AF1, AF2 auxiliary generator fields, shunt A fields. A1 and 2 auxiliary generator armatures. Switches, your DS, DPT, SP, ST, nice switch disconnects the battery from all the circuit of the control. DPT, ST, tumbler switch disconnects the control circuit from armature, auxiliary generator armatures 1 and 2 in the battery. CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, DPT, ST, tumbler switch disconnects the motor contactor for the cutting of the motors out of the circuit. Light and accessories, DPT, ST, tumbler switch U for the separated lighting auxiliary circuits in operation. Control master, controller, complete circuits with the reverser operating control to determine the direction and locomotive of the machine. Motion. Diesel engine start, push button, spring return switch, start the diesel engine. TC, throttle control, controls motor circuits and contactors. Tables continue on page 47. I figure 1 through 1 on 6 up on the left side, and then on the bottom view, bottom 7 and 15 and right from left. Drain valve, fuel air compressor crankcase. 2, the crank compressor intercooler. Safety valve. 3, the intercooler air for the air compressor. 4, the intercooler manifold. 5, the air compressor cylinder head. 6, driving drain valve covers the above parts of all the Gardner Denver air compressor. 7, the dead engine cutout cock. 8, the dirt collector. 9, distributing valve. 10, the equalizing reservoir. 11, the distributing valve cutout. 12, the main reserve is A2 valve. 13, the auxiliary generator exciter set number 1. 14, air filter auxiliary air compressor intake. 15, the air just to the sub bay for the air compressor. Table electric GS1, GS2, diesel engine starting contactors, generators 1 and 2 of the battery cranking diesel. P1, P2, P3, P4 power motor contactors. Connect generators G1, G2 with the motors number 1, 2, and 3, 1, 3, and 4. MT1, MT3, MT4 field shunting contactor connecting motor shunting resistor parallel fields with number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. A1, A21 auxiliator generator contacts accelerate connecting generators from A1 to A2 control circuit. Battery charging EF1, EF21 accelerator field contactors connects positive battery with exciter generator fields EF1, EF2. Alright, two parallel lines, reverse of the direction of the current of the motor field, number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 of the reverse of the direction of the rotation traction motor coils, reversing operating coils, operating magnetic volt of the admit the air in the air, engage with the operating reverser, interlocker, reverse interlocker, prevents motor lining, contactors closing unless proportion, position of the reverser, consider the position of the master control. Alright, relays. The FS is your field shunt relay operating the field shunt motor contactors M1, M2, M1, M3, and M4 prevents operation of the CR fields controlling dropout, reout, prevents operation of the traction motor field shunting connection between maximum permissible locomotive speeds. Alright, one in a clockwise position from the left, then the top of the right, and then the bottom. Consists of resistors, accelerated generator contactor 2, 3, exciter field contactor 4, reverse current relay 5, 35 amp fused accelerated generator 6, 4 amp accelerated generator field circuit, 7 exciter field cutout switch number R, traction motor control circuit switch number 3, traction motor 9, traction motor cutout switch number 4, 10 voltage relay X21 for contactor number 2, motor line contactor P3 and P4, 12 field shunting relay F5, field shunting dropout relay CR, 14 engine circuit starting contactor GS21. Alright, your RC1 RCU with the reverse current relay controls the auxiliary generator contacts A1 and A2, prevents the AT with it prevents the battery for the current of the operating auxiliary generator. The motor, the X1, X21 voltage regulator maintains the current voltage outlet relay put out with auxiliary generator A1 and AT throughout the normal speed range. Or your control circuit resistors BR1, BR21, brake resistor limiting resistor brake battery charging EFR1, EFR21, exciter field resistors control circuit resistor field excitation. HR1, HR2 headlight resistors consistent and condition series headlight with auxiliary circuits. HFR heater fan motor resistor connected with the series of the fan motors. EGR and electric indicator resistor with 10 pentameter for the electrical indicator. Fuse and circuit breaker of the fuse of the batteries at 250 volt, 60 amps, one quantity. Auxiliary generator 250 volts, 35 amps, two quantity. Auxiliary generator field circuit breaker of the control auxiliary volts 125, 15 amps at 2 quantity. Alright, your generator motors for the traction motor with the direct current with the communicating pole motor for the director with the double reduction gear unit with the double reduction gear unit with contained with both the high and low speed reduction gear for the gearbox for the gear cover for the bolted together form a oil tight assembly with the hole for the oil for the witch for the U for the bowl for the gear and the bearing and the location for the gear for the T for the lubricated with the dip slab with the oil bath with the anti-friction bearing with the axle sleeve bearing with the lubricated with the slash from the gear train with the essential with the proper oil level to maintain with the gearbox at all times. Alright, figure 21 is your truck with the traction motor track. 1 is your from the top of the one, and 1 is the traction motor air duct and connection. 2 is the traction gear unit. 3 is the center plate. 4 is your air brake cylinder. 5 is your traction motor. 6 is the side bearing. 7 is your snubber bearing. 8 is snubber springs. 8 is the equalizing bear bar, and 9 is your journal box. 2 traction generator with the traction generator, the direct current with the communicating pole with the generator series with the field over the start with the amateur connected with the diesel engine with the mid-main with the flexible coupling single excited with the field winding separately exhaust with the split pole split pole excited with the give the correctly proportioned excitation with the various loads with the airbags matching with the engine outlet put with all throttle positions. Alright, 3 auxiliary generator exciter set with auxiliary generator exciter set with especially with the 2 set with electrical motor machine with the mechanically built with the same drive with the both armatures mounted on one shaft. The unit is belt driven with a pulley mounted over the generator shaft, extension for the auxiliary generator, charge for the battery with a supply with the power with the control light circuit with the exciter design with the adjust for the furniture with the station from the traction generator. 22 shove the direct current traction generator shaft at tension from the pulley. Your GS circuits. Our figure 23 show the direct current auxiliary generator exciter set from the top of 1 through 10, 1 through 14 in a clockwise position. Pulley ending grease bar caught 2 pinion retainer nut washer. 3 shaft extension key. 4 ISS lead auxiliary generator field terminal. 5 IS lead auxiliary generator field terminal. LAA lead auxiliary generator armature terminal. LA lead auxiliary generator armature terminal. EAA exciter armature terminal. EA lead exciter armature terminal. ES lead exciter shunt field terminal. 11 brush holder support. 12 brush holder stud. 13 brush holder. 14 exciter end bearing grease cup. 15 exciter end bearing cap. 16 exciter differential field cutting connecting strips. EF leading exciter differential field terminal. EFF leading exciter differential field terminal. 19 ventilation fan. For inspection, the engine should be familiar with the appearance of all of the equipment so that they can detect the reported system failures. Keep all the equipment clean at all times. Check with the loose and electrical connections. Check with the communicated roughness of the burned and pitted segments of any eccentricity. 8. Check the brush with the wear of the thickness of the brush, holder of the pigtail of the brush, for the short circuit of the ground, lubricate the outline with lubrication recommendations. And 7 and 5 with the trouble that you usually detect with the presence of excessive heat order or burns of the isolation caused by overload, short-circuited armature field coil of the ground armature for the field coil is bad. Communication indicate with the brush spark and the loose connection, incorrect connections. If after above the indicating trouble, if you reach your trouble, there should be the report of the maintenance screw that once this should be asked the daily report sheet for the engine man, page 93. Storage battery with the lead over the acid type of the for the 32 self-connecting street with the charge with the rate furnace valve. The auxiliary generator must be sufficient for the take care with the cranking the engine to the standby light. Otherwise, battery will assume with the discharge will not be able to start the engine. But conversely, with the charging rate, the 2 grade of the battery will overheat. The water with the electrolyte will gas off, and the plates will become warped. The level of the electrolyte should never be allowed to fall below the top of the plate. The number should be carried so high that it overflows through the vent, and either of the conditions observed that they can be reported with the maintenance crew. Alright, figure 24A with auxiliary apparatus component B, and 1 and 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the left side, and then 4 through 15 on the bottom side, right to left. On the apartment bumper B, there's 16 pointed to at the light. 1 is your air compressor assembly, air compressor pulley. 2, the intercooler. 4, the air compressor. 3, the air compressor cylinder head. 4, the field shunt contactor M2. 5, M4. 8, M1. 7, M3. Field shunt resistor FSR. 8, 9, reverser magnetic valves. 10, reverser cylinder. 11, air filter with the compressor intake. With the 12, the air compressor crankcase. 13, the Bennett gauge. With the 14, the compressor intercooler safety valve. With the 15, the adjustable sub base. With the air compressor. 16, the storage battery. Or a battery indicated with the instrument panel showing the charging. For the addition, these are solved with the point of the first long red band of the battery support for the addition with the being discharged. With the battery when the battery is neither receiving the charge nor discharge, the pointer should be in the white band. With the pointer is in the green band of the battery is receiving the normal charge of the battery. On the point with the white band below with the green band just after the starting of the engine. When the pointer is in the small red band below beyond the green band with the batteries being overcharged, with the indicate that either the oil red bands for any of the length of the time should be reported with the maintenance crew. Control system. The foundation of the schematic diagrams are you with a show of the how of each of the following with a control the system actuated with a schematic diagram, each of the circle of the baby tray for the following with explanation, remembering with the only of the parts of the control of the device is necessary, the particular function with the circle that included also nominally clove the contact for the assumed with the remain clove within the operation for the clove with not shown, all switches for the controller shown with the on and off position with the reverse shown with the forward position, all contactors interlock with the relay with the contact shown with the de-energized position with all operation for the de-energized symbol of the diagram. Denoting control device for the control carrying out the underlying with, for example, the auxiliary generator A1 is underlined with the symbol A1 referring to the auxiliary generator that not outlined. Symbol marking schematic control connecting diagrams that identified and referring to page figure 45, 47, and 49. Diagrams themselves are on page 56 and 250, 67. All right, 25 the circuit cranking circuit schematic number 1. The battery furnished with the power of the operating with the main generator with the cranking edge of the battery is connected with the main generator with the following sequence completed with the battery switch for the DS closed manually with the control brake of the closed manually with the control switch closed manually. The exciter field switch for the EF1 and EF2 with the remain open the engine start switch for the closed manually the contactor starting generator the GS1 GS2 closed with the connected with the battery with the main generators G1 and G2 generator armature steel starting field with the energizer with the cranking commence if the contactor of the GS1, GS2 do not close to recheck. Check for open circuit ground control, contactor coil with locate the loose the connection for the control of the power circuit with the blower, the contact of the engine start button, pour the contactor normally closed interlock on the EF1, EF2 strip the control circuit control breaker, the pour the connection for the contact with the control switch. If the contactor GS1, GS2 closed with the butt, the engine does not overturn. Check for the pour contacts GS1, G2 with the open the circuit breaker with the ground rear armature pour the ground connection from the battery generator and bolt around and down the battery. Alright, battery charging circuit with the battery with the charge with the receiving with the power with the armature auxiliary generator with A1 and A2 with the battery connected with the auxiliary generator from the following sequence that has been complete with the battery switch for the DS closed manually with the 2, the control circuit with the brake is closed manually with 3, the control circuit is closed manually 4, the engine switch are open and the 5 of the engine control GS1, GS2 remain open the 6 for the relay RC1, RC2 closed when the contact with the RC1, RC2 with the close with the auxiliary generator contacts A1 and A2 with the close with the connecting the auxiliary generator with the battery with the 8, the battery's on charge. Polarity of the shunt with the differential coil of the relay RC1, RC2 with the arranged for the auxiliary generator voltage less than the battery voltage. The condition which would cause the auxiliary generator to run as much as the motor of as from the battery with the contact of the relay with the seal with the open position. The auxiliary generator voltage is greater than the battery voltage. The condition satisfactory for the battery charging with the relay with the close with the series coil of the relay aids for the keeping of the relay closed when the current flow with the auxiliary generator with the battery opens the relay sufficient current flow with the battery auxiliary generator, thus supporting reversing current protection. 26 of the battery charging schematic number 2. 9. The voltage regulator of the X1, X2 must contain with a constant voltage output with the auxiliary generator A1 and A2 throughout the speed band with accomplished with the opening of the closing. The contact continues for external resistors arrangements. Auxiliary generator field, the relay shunt contact coil is connected with the auxiliary generator with an armature through the R1 and control with the control contact operation. Compensation coil with the resistor 6A with the aid maintained with a steady with the voltage retained condition from the bottom with both auxiliary generators are charging with the battery with the 2 voltage. 2 regulator bays for the coil connected in a series of means with the interlock with the contactor to A1 and A2 Generator delivers when the share of the current with the base for the coil ends with the base with the current between the generator seal. Slightly increase the voltage of one generator, decreasing the voltage for the other generator. Or a possible cause of the trouble. The check with the battery charging operates with both the engine shutdown close with the battery with the switch of the DS voltmeter, which should be read approximately 60 to 77 volts. The voltage in this should inspect with the balloon with a 60 amp battery fuse with the bore connection with the battery with the voltmeter circuit. Within one battery, one or both auxiliary running of the battery charging should take place, indicate with the increase of the voltage approximately 70 to 74 volts, depending on the condition of the battery. Check with the set of each of the auxiliary generator is separated with the other. The generator shut down with the auxiliary generator failed with the charge. If the voltage is not constant, indicate with the functions of the fluctuation for the battery voltmeter. For a blown 35 amp auxiliary fuse, a 4 amp voltage regulator fuse and trip control circuit breaker, loose open connections, poor contact switches, interlock contact, reverser current relays, regulator, clean contact for the cloths. Do not use the brace of paper or file. Open circuited ground wires or coils with the battery switch open the contact relays, regulators, hand-free action with the RC1, RC2. Do not check with the voltage auxiliary generator. If the U with a greater than battery voltage from the relay will operate with the trouble may cause the internal failure with the auxiliary generator regulator. And this is a picture of motor to control schematic number 3. Alright, your motor control circuit for the contactor P1, P2, P3, P4 will go for the connection for the traction motor G1 for the motors number 1 and number 2, traction motor G2 for the motor number 3 and 4, contactors P2 and P3 and P1, P2, P3, P4 close with the following sequence complete with the battery switch of DS closed manually, control circuit breaker closed manually, control switch is closed manually, auxiliary generators are charged with the battery and the emergency with the auxiliary generators are inoperative with the battery alone or supply voltage of the control circuit. Control is in either in the forward reverse position, reverser is in the position corresponding corresponding with the position of the controller of the owner. There's throttles in the first position or beyond. Contact is closed on the throttle switch of the TC7 motor cutout switch of the CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4 are closed manually. This contactor is closing the motor to the generator. Possible cause for the trouble: the contactor P1, 2, P2, P2, P3, and P4 do not close the check of the voltmeter with the current control the voltage available. Check for the control breaker to see if the strip. Check if the loose or open short circuit with the ground wires are connected. Check the connection of check if the loose, open, short circuit to ground wires connection. Check the contact control switch with the check of the contact control reverses interlock of the T switch with the reverse for the throne with the correct position. The contactors P1, P2, P4, but the motors do not overturn with the check of the power contact reverse main contact sport motor circuit connections, internal traction generated traction motors. And this is the motor field shunt circuit for the schematic number 4. Alright, motor field shunt circuit. The full utilization available diesel engine output with the more power with the full for all traction higher locomotive speeds obtained with the weakening of the motor field with the accomplished with the parallel motor field with the resistor as in called motor field shunting. This result is somewhat similar with the override of the driving an automobile. Field shunting operator takes in place for this when the throttle is advanced beyond the idling position. Contact the AC and the TC through the closed contact of P1, P2, P3, and P4, describing the motor control circuit with the contact B and the TC with the clove of the idling position remain with the clove of the contact A of the first close. The armature relays over the CR and FS clove of the open contact and the control CR clove to the other the open contact of the FS. The relay of the CR remains closed throughout its own contact with the current remains of the motor circuit with the keeping the armature of the CR and the FS clove with the series coil with schematic number 3. When the throttle is further advanced with the contact B with the TC opened with the DN drive with the shunts from the FS relay, the armature relay FS remains clove with the series coil with the locomotive speed increase with the traction motor current decrease with the RS drop field relap to the decrease with the current with the series of the coils and the contacts. The field shunting contactor clove with the following sequence of the M3, N4 with the M1, M2, causing the field shunt with the motor with the number 3, 4, and 1, and 2 with respectively the field shunting coil, the relay, CR to the energy of the armature with the CR with the help with the close to the own series coil. Maximum principal locomotive speed reached with the relay with the CR open to cover the degrees for the current drop through a series coil with the contactor M1, M2, M3, M4 open with the move of the motor field shunt contact connection. To reestablish the field shunting connection with the speed of the locomotive that must be reduced with the throttle shut off far enough to clove with the contact B with the switch for the TC. Field shunting with the reestablish the sequence that's described above. The field shunting with the contactor clove with the locomotive load increase with the traction motor with the current with the increase with the beyond with a certain value. The armature relay with the FS clove with the current with the series coil through the opening relay contact with the contactors M1, M2, M3, M4 drop out, removing the motor field with the shunting contactors. Possible cause of trouble. The field shunting is not obtained with the checking with the loosening operating short circuit with the ground wire with the connection port contact with the TC switch cutout switch of the relay interlocked with the battery switch opening check with the contactor relays on the hand for free action. Figure 29 generator field switch schematic number 5. Alright, generator field circuit with the generator field circuit 1 and 2, GF1 and GF2 with the traction generator G1, G2 with excited with the armature for the E1, E1, 2 field E1, EF2, EF1, excited E1, E2 excited with its own armature with the position for the armature auxiliary generator A1, A2 with the contactor A1, A2 with the contactor field EF1, EF2 with the EF and the resistor. The selection insert with the exciter field with the EF1, EF2 is complete when the following sequence has been taken place. The exciter field cutout switch closed manually with the starting contactor GS1, GS2, 1 is open with the schematic number 1. The auxiliary generator contact A1, A2, 1 is closed as described under the battery charging circuit with the schematic number 2. With the motor line contactor P1, P2, P3, P4 are closed with the described under the motor control circuit. The contactor EF1, EF2, 1 is closed. If possible cause of trouble, any trouble, the generator field is usually resolved with the loss of power to live with the generator will indicate with the low reading on the one load indicator if compared with the other one. The difference in load reading is relatively small, probably due to the difference in engine generator adjustment, probably difficult but impossible to determine what the cause of the locomotive is in service. If there's considerable difference in loading in the indicator reading of the company with a noticeable loss of the locomotive power, making the following check. Check the engine speed with approximately the same as the throttle is open in the step-by-step of the motor to the contactor P1, P2, P3, P4. Set the reverse fingers in the making guide contact set with the contactor EF1, EF2 with the closed. If no, check with the loose for the connection with the ground with the contactor control circuit of the schematic number 5. 5. Check with the accelerator field with including the contactors A1, A2, EF1, EF2, resistors EFR1 and 2, EFR2 and 1. Loose connections. Open the circuit with the grounds. Check with the loose connection with the ground armature field with the circuit. So exciter E1, E2, and generators E1 and G2. This is figure 30 is the lighting accessory circuit schematic number 6. Various lighting auxiliary circuits are connected with across the voltage supply shown with the control circuit that provide with all the lights accessory circuits. These circuits are protected with the circuit breakers, cab light classification marker lights, front headlight with heat fan, reader headlight, temperature and pressure indicator. Possible cause of the trouble of the light of the auxiliary equipment fails. Inspect with the tripped circuit breaker, loose open circuit with the ground connection, poor contact with the circuit switch, and defective individual lamp or motor. Contactor sequence table. The O0 indicate with the device of the globe of the car chart and include is U with the conjunction with the preceding schematic diagram. U with the device of the closed none of the various operation conditions. Contactor P1, P2, P3, P4. Exciter field 1 and exciter field 2 will 2 to 1 close open by the open throttle of the diesel engine. Shut down with the battery switch closed. The contactors generator shunt field GS1 and G to 1. Check for the operation engine push for the button before the inserting of the thin piece of the insulation material between the contact for the both contactors. The sequence of the remaining contactor relay is dependent upon the current over the series of the coils generated with the voltage, hence it is necessary to operate a locomotive to test them. 5. Air broke system.